Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody that's in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys are having difficulty hearing me, or if you can't see the visual very well on the screen, give me a thumbs down or an angry face, and I will work on it. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who's in here. Shout out to Patricia Slade. We got my man Lloyd Sky 9. Shout out to Iron Will. And we got Key Prince in the building, all right? It's good to see you guys, all right? So what we're going to talk about tonight is the Biden administration and what they used a migrant cell phone app to do. Here's my question. Do you all know what Joe Biden used this app to do? If you guys do, put it in the comment section. If you guys don't, you're about to find out shortly. It's very interesting. I'll tell you that much. All right? I'll tell you that much. Shout out to Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? How many people heard about what Joe Biden and his administration did with this cell phone app? Let's watch.
Of migrants who have crossed the southern border illegally. A new report shows the Biden administration has flown hundreds of thousands of migrants from foreign countries directly into the U.S. on flights using an app. In fact, the Center for Immigration Studies found last year, from January 2023 to December 2023, at least 320,000 illegal immigrants were allowed to fly into the U.S. from their home countries through a controversial program of the Biden administration using the Customs and Border Patrol app, the CBP One app that was created to let migrants apply for parole into the U.S.
How many people heard about that? If you guys heard about that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about that, give me a thumbs down. We talked about the CBP app before, but I don't think that the sentiments were echoed throughout the social media content creation community. It was probably deemed as something not very important for people to pay very close attention to. However, the migrant crisis is in the crosshairs, and everybody's supposed to be keeping their eyes on it. Yet somehow this one slipped under the radar. So here it is to bite everybody again. All right. Shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 13 people watching, and we got 11 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 20, that would be great. Definitely would appreciate it.
The Center for Immigration Studies sued to get information through the Freedom of Information Act and finally released it yesterday. The report states, quote, the program at the center of the Freedom of Information Act litigation is perhaps the most enigmatic and least known of the Biden administration's uses of the CBP One cell phone scheduling app.
Now, let me ask you guys this question here. Is this something that would make you want to vote for the Biden administration again? If this is something that motivates you to get your booty to the poll and go vote for Biden again, give me a thumbs up. If this is something that makes you say, hell to the no, 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 give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says the migrants will Carlton said the migrants will probably end up getting shipped. This is my sus Illuminati conspiracy. Yo, sus Illuminati conspiracy. Shout out to Kev from Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Your sus Illuminati conspiracy theory ain't as good as my sus Illuminati conspiracy theory. My sus Illuminati conspiracy theory is that nobody's flying these migrants in at all. What's actually going on is that they're coming off an assembly line in a secret cloning lab. That sounds a little bit more believable, don't it?
Even though it is responsible for almost invisibly importing by air 320,000 aliens with no legal right to enter the United States since it got underway.
See, they already talking about aliens.
Scheduling app, even though it is responsible for almost invisibly importing by air 320,000 aliens with no legal right to enter the United States since it got underway in late 2022. Under these legally dubious parole programs, aliens who cannot legally enter the country use the CBP One app to apply for travel authorization and temporary humanitarian release from those airports. The parole program allows for 2-year periods of legal status during which adults are eligible for work authorization. Joining us now to discuss is former Acting Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection and fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Mark Morgan. Good morning to you. This report is stunning. Hundreds of thousands of...
Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to who they brought in as their correspondent. You guys see they brought in a Heritage Institute correspondent. And this is a local news channel. Just so everybody can see, as you guys can see here, this is a local news channel. This is ABC 7. And they brought in a Heritage Foundation correspondent as the quote-unquote reference information. Now, here's my question for you guys. Who is the Heritage Foundation? And what do they do? And here's another question for you. How comfortable are you with Heritage Foundation people being used as quote-unquote reference information? Let me know what you guys think. And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 20 live viewers, but the math ain't math, and we got 13 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and now get us to 30, that'd be great.
Illegal immigrants flown into 43 different airports, again, from January through December 2023. And Mark, to be clear, migrants have been flown to their final destination after arriving here in the U.S., especially at the border. These unaccompanied children, that's not a secret. And you said we've known about the CBP One app. However, Americans might be surprised to learn one of the uses of this new CBP One app was to fly migrants into the U.S. on commercial passenger flights. So we're talking about over Mexico, over the...
Again, this is important, right? How many videos, how much content has come out about the migrant crisis? When I asked this question before, most of the people who were watching gave me the thumbs down and said that they weren't real familiar with this. My question for everybody is, where is the integrity in content creation where people aren't talking about this? You have to question not only the news media, but you have to question the entire media apparatus. That includes the information being propagated on Twitter, information being propagated on YouTube, information being propagated on Facebook, TikTok, because as we know, TikTok is one of the places where the migrants are getting their illegal entry instructions. So what's going on with this? How is this stuff being left out is the question. Or is it being purposely left out and just being ignored? Let me know what you guys think.
The border. What's your reaction to this?
Yeah, look, I'm glad CIS once again, great reporting to confirm a lot of what we have already known, Jan, like you said. It's really unconscionable, but this is the shell game we've been talking about. This is what they've done, this administration. They've made a deal with migrants from all over the world that said, hey, if you refrain from illegally entered along our southern border in between the ports of entry, what we'll do is we'll let you fill out a couple of lines of paperwork online, and we'll actually let you fly in to 43 different airports in the United States where we'll process and release you this way. So it's absolutely to cover up bad political optics. It's try to reduce that optics from those illegally entering. And this is an absolutely abuse of their authority and parole. And keep in mind, this is why we've seen from 2020 to 2023, the average was about 240,000 come to our ports of entry in 2020. In 23, that was 1.1 million, Jan, coming to our airports. That's a 370% increase.
But are these migrants, they're not coming to a point of entry. They're actually coming from their home countries, right?
Correct. They're coming from their home countries. They're able to.
So here's my question. How does Biden and Biden's administration get away with doing this unquestioned, unchallenged? People making content for the news media and for social media looking the other direction because they don't have the steam to deal with this. Somebody make it make sense.
to get on a plane after filling out a couple of the lines on the CBP One app, fly themselves to a port of entry, an airport, basically anywhere in the United States. Right now, what this report said is they're flying into 43 airports.
Right.
That's information that we didn't have before.
We did not have that information before. And what I found interesting about this report is that the administration would not reveal also where these 320,000 migrants came from, nor would they disclose which U.S. airports they were flown to. In fact, in the lawsuit, it actually states this, that the location.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to Iron Will. Iron Will says this administration is allowing illegals to flood into the United States. And one thing that this administration did was made it easier for illegals to flood into the United States by creating that cell phone app that they're talking about here, the CBP cell phone app.
Were not disclosed due to fear bad actors would inflict harm on public safety or the information would create law enforcement vulnerabilities. What do you make of that? Why would we have a program that is so shrouded in secrecy with such concern of grave consequences?
Yeah, look, there's a lot that are coming up here. Now, we did know some of the countries, Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti. We knew those were the 4 countries. But what this report identified through the FOIA request is they're actually using the CBP One app for countries well beyond that. And again, the 43 airports was something new. Part of the secrecy is because this is a shell game. They know they're unlawfully using parole. They're trying to hide that from the American people. They know that they're flying them into 43 different airports. They're trying to
now, do you all remember the parole changes from the beginning of the year? If you guys remember the parole changes from the beginning of the year to create more eligibility for people being able to seek asylum, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't recall that, give me a thumbs down. If you guys don't recall that, you might want to check out some of the earlier Undocumented Bros videos.
Hide that from the American people as well. And as far as the vulnerabilities, that's the same thing at the southwest border in between the ports of entry, Jan. When we're invaded by millions of illegal aliens, that pulls resources away from law enforcement, national security mission to process these illegal aliens. That's the same thing happening at the airports. Those precious CBP officers are pulled away from their law enforcement, national security mission to process illegal aliens. So there's a whole list of reasons why they're trying to hide this from the American people.
I'm so glad we're showing video right now of airport security because it can take an hour.
I gotta ask this question again. Why do we have to get this kind of information from the local news and from the Heritage Foundation? If the local news and the Heritage Foundation were not around, where would I be getting this information from? Would I have this information? And why not? Those are serious questions that require serious answers. Real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 19 people watching and we got 15 likes. Still need the likes up to 30.
For a few hundred Americans to go through TSA security. So when you consider 320,000 migrants who were flown into the U.S. in just a year, how were our airports able to handle the influx? What was the process?
Yeah, so keep in mind, this is another reason why they were able to keep this secret, because you're talking about flights from outside of the country. So this is CBP owns that. TSA doesn't own that. And that's exactly how they were able to keep this from the American people when flights coming in from the United States. It's CBP that does all that initial.
Yeah, big facts. I got to agree, Carlton. Super facts. They want to sweep this under the rug, and they definitely don't want people talking about this and asking questions about this right around the time of the election. Because as we all know, one of the major issues that most Americans are absolutely not satisfied with at all when it comes to Joe Biden is his handling of the migrant crisis. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Processing. But again, just like for Border Patrol agents in between the ports of entry, when you flooded and you've increased that flow by 320,000, it's taken those officers off the front line away from their normal national security and law enforcement mission to process these illegal aliens. And Jan, another question I have is, what kind of documentation are they requiring of these illegal aliens? That's something else that we don't know.
This is very important because you mentioned Venezuela. You mentioned countries that we don't really have diplomacy with. How can we even account for who some of these migrants are? Because according to this report, the CBP One parole program.
And you guys recall, we've been asking this question for the longest. How do you vet any of these people that you absolutely have no records or no documentation on any of these people? Also, when they come in and they say that they're coming in with families, how do you verify that these are actual families that they have? How do we not know that this stuff is all made up?
Allows migrants who have not been approved for asylum to apply for what's called travel authorization and temporary humanitarian release from these U.S. airports, meaning they can stay in the U.S. for a couple of years without obtaining legal status. But how do we know who anyone is that's entering this country without adjudication?
Okay, look, that's another great question. And we don't know that information, just like they've hid so many other aspects of this program. We don't know. I don't know what type of documentation they're requiring. But you bring up a very good point that we talk about when they illegally enter in between the ports of entry. We don't have diplomatic relationships with these countries. So in my experience, there's no way that we're actually learning anything about these.
And also, you guys recall when we were talking about China, a lot of these countries do not allow these undocumented migrants to be flown back. So once they get here in the United States, they just end up stuck. And then what happens? I'll tell you exactly what happens. Taxpayer dollars provide life support. That's what happens.
Individual's criminal background before we're letting them board a plane and come in. Another thing, do they have passports? Do they have any other form of documentation? Or are they able to get on this app, fill it out, print it off, and now that's their piece of paper and documentation they can fly with? There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and that is also part of the vulnerabilities.
Always great talking to you. And there's so many questions about this report again. A lot of this information that just came out last night. Former Acting Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection and fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Mark Morgan.
So again, this stuff all just came out last night that the Biden administration is now admitting. They are now admitting to all of these secret flights that they had. Okay. Real quick, give me 1 second. Hold on here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, good. I was about to say, shout out to my man Jay Bird. Shout out to John Guillory. What's good with y'all? So we're gonna listen to my girl Maria in her annoying voice. All right. Let's see what she's talking about real quick.
Biden administration reportedly admitting to secretly flying 320,000 illegal migrants into 43 U.S. airports last year. This is a blockbuster admission.
So now here's the thing, right? NBC, ABC, CBS, and CNN have not talked about this at all. And honestly, when it comes to people talking about Joe Biden and his 2024 electability for a second term as president, people aren't talking about this as well. My question to everybody watching this is, where was the transparency on this issue? Where was the transparency on this issue? It took them to have to get a FOIA act to get the information to reveal all of this stuff. The Biden administration didn't come out and admit to any of this.
According to the Center for Immigration Studies, this was part of President Biden's expansion of the CBP One app. CBP One app. It allows migrants to apply for travel authorization and temporary humanitarian release from these airports. Customs and Border Patrol sources told Fox News that Border Patrol apprehended more than 141,000 illegal migrants in February. And of that number, over 70% were in blue states: Arizona, California, New Mexico. Texas, which has 5 out of the 9 Border Patrol sectors along the border, saw just over 42,000 apprehensions in February. I mean, this is pretty stunning that the administration is admitting that they actually took these migrants and flew them into cities and states across the country, Rebecca. Remember when the New York Post had cameras?
So again, here's the thing. How are they allowed to do that? Why would they do that? What benefit does doing that have? And here's another question. What benefit does keeping this a secret, like it's been kept from the public, what benefit does that have? These are all things that you would expect the news media to be grilling Joe Biden about. But for whatever reason, they're not doing that. This isn't being talked about at all. And real quick, isn't that just a wonderful stroke face pause moment on Maria? If you guys think it is, give me a thumbs up. If you guys think that it's not, then give me a thumbs down. And real quick, again, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 24 people watching and we got 17 likes. Shouldn't be that hard to get that to 30. We need that to get to 30. So take a moment, smash that like button if you haven't. If you have, please take a moment, share the stream to your social media. And also, if you're not subscribed, hit the bell icon twice.
In Westchester, and they caught all these migrants getting off the plane, and the White House would not say a thing about it. They wouldn't admit it. And now we know they're admitting, yes, they have enabled these migrants to go to cities across the country, Rebecca.
You know, Maria, I know the days of Watergate are over and we don't have these major political bombshells, but when you have an administration that has taken the stance that they will come out every single day and beat the American public over the head, that if Congress doesn't do something, nothing's going to get fixed, that it's up to Congress, the president is powerless. And then you find out that not only did he cancel all of the executive orders remaining in Mexico, that...
Shout out to Iron Will. Iron Will says she look like an ex-porn star who's been saved. That's hilarious. If y'all agree with Will, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Trump successfully, dealt with the border crisis on, but they enable this app to have illegal immigrants across the world, Maria, request asylum. Then NGOs and humanitarian groups get involved, schedule their travel, get them here. And then here's the worst part. The administration won't even tell us the airports because they can do this program under cover of night and not let us know. But if we, the American public, demand to know these 43 airports, no, that's an operational problem that could create vulnerabilities. We can't publicize what we're doing because then people could attack it. This has got to stop. We didn't vote for this. We don't accept this. This is not the rule of law.
All right. So now, again, do you all think that the people who live in these 43 cities that got these silent shipments of migrants flown in, do you all think that they're aware of that? If you ask me, the government officials like the mayors, the government officials like the governors, they're probably aware. But the people, the residents of the cities, I bet you they have no idea. I bet you they couldn't tell you the first thing about any of this. 320,000 illegal immigrants flown into the U.S. by the Biden administration, according to this report. A new report from the Center for Immigration Studies shows that President Joe Biden's administration flew roughly 320,000 illegal immigrants into 43 different U.S. airports from multiple foreign airports last year. Why would they fly them in from foreign airports? Think about this. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen and shout out to Iron Will for being a like enforcer. Make sure you guys throw some like enforcers into the chat for Iron Will. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Think about this. The Biden administration flew these people in. So these people were not at the southern border. They weren't at the southern border. The Biden administration flew these people in from other locations. Make that make sense. Why would they do that? What would the benefit be in them doing that? This allowed the Biden administration to bypass border security data by directly transporting illegal immigrants. You see this? Directly transporting illegal immigrants into the United States from other countries. According to the Center for Immigration Studies, the report was uncovered as the result of a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit filed by the organization. The Center for Immigration Studies noted the public now knows that U.S. Customs and Border Protection has approved secretive flights that last year alone ferried hundreds of thousands of inadmissible aliens from foreign airports into some 43 American ones over the past year, all pre-approved on a cell phone app. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What 43 airports do you all think received these migrants? Let me know in the comment section what 43 airports you all think received these migrants, okay? While the Center for Immigration Studies lawsuit forced the Biden administration to disclose the number of illegal immigrants flown into the United States, the organization said Customs and Border Protection has refused to reveal information regarding which airports were used to transport the illegal immigrants. Why is the Biden administration flying illegal immigrants into the United States? Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Iron Will, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Iron Will, give me a thumbs down. The fact that this isn't considered treason is ridiculous. Yeah, it would be nice if they said something about this or told us about this, or we figured out like why they did this or how they justified this is okay. You know what I'm saying? Somebody make it make sense. There's no justifiable or no logical reason for this to have been done. Why would they have done this? You know what I'm saying? CBP has withheld from the center and apparently will not disclose the names of the 43 U.S. airports that have received 320 inadmissible aliens from January through December of 2023, nor the foreign airports from which they departed, the Center for Immigration Studies said. Now, all of the mayors of all of those cities that are talking about Abbott, saying that Abbott is a madman, flying people and busing people into their states, I wonder what they have to say about Joe Biden flying all of these migrants from their home countries into the United States and through these 43 airports. I wonder what they got to say about him. If Abbott is a madman, what does that make Joe Biden? That's my question for you guys. Choice words for Joe Biden. Let me know what y'all think. According to the Center for Immigration Studies, the program used by the Biden administration to fly illegal immigrants into the United States was part of the expansion of the CBP One app, which was launched at the beginning of 2023. The organization claimed that the transportation of illegal immigrants directly into the United States is one of the least reported features of the CBP One app. The program at the center of the FOIA litigation is perhaps the most enigmatic and least known of the Biden administration's uses of the CBP. One cell phone scheduling app, even though it is responsible for almost invisibly importing by air 320,000 aliens with no legal right to enter the United States since it got underway in late 2022. The Center for Immigration Studies stated. So because of this app that the Biden administration had, yeah, a senile bigot, a clown, facts. Because of this app, they allowed 320,000 illegal migrants into the country, and they flew them in not from the southern border, but from their home country. Though the CBP One app, through the CBP One app, illegal immigrants are able to apply for travel authorization and temporary humanitarian release, which allows them to stay in the United States and be eligible for work authorization for 2 years, according to the Daily Mail. Okay. So next, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at Gavin Newsom. Okay. Because Gavin Newsom, I don't know what this dude was doing, but what he decided to do was he decided to take a photo op. And he decided to take a photo op in California near the border where many migrants have been illegally entering. The only problem is that Gavin Newsom took a photo op at the border in a part of the border where an individual actually paid for the razor wire to be applied there. And it wasn't anything that he did to help secure it, but he's taking this photo op trying to take credit for it. Sounds about like a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Win Loser Rug. Absolutely. Make sure you guys do exactly like Win Loser Rug is saying. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure y'all hit that bell if you're not subscribed. If everybody in the chat could throw some like enforcers in the chat for my man Win Loser Rug, I would definitely appreciate it. And let's check out this loser Gavin Newsom, shall we?
All right, last week we showed you California congressional candidate Kate Monroe plugging a hole in the border wall with razor wires she bought with her own money in her own pocket. Now, during their trip to the...
Okay, so this individual here is somebody named Kate Monroe. Okay, and according to Fox News, you guys see this border wire that she's applying here? Apparently, she paid for this with her own money and applied this border wall and installed it herself. Now, watch your boy Gavin Newsom sit up there and take a picture of it. and act like it's something that he did. Shout out to Beach Material. What's good with it, bro?
The border, Gavin Newsom, is taking a photo op next to her hard work. Kate Monroe joins us ahead of Super Tuesday. How did you feel about the governor, finally visiting the border area, but then posing right in front of your hard work?
Well, I think my first reaction was to laugh. Like, you can't make up the ridiculous stuff.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. Does that make Gavin Newsom an official poser? If that makes Gavin Newsom officially a poser, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make him officially a poser and it makes him something else, by all means, let us know what it makes him.
That happens on the left, right? It's like, oh, thank you for coming down to visit the border all these years too late. But it really kind of pisses me off. It's like, that's exactly what most politicians do. They stand for things, but they actually do very little. I thought it was actually embarrassing for him. And you can go, back up into Sacramento and do your feckless, malicious neglect of a job.
Yeah. Now we're finding out that 70% of the legal crossings in February happen in blue states. So it's not just California now. It's all of the liberal states right now.
Yeah, it's not a huge surprise. You have sanctuary states, sanctuary cities. You turn the whole country into a sanctuary country, basically, and you wonder why it's decimating the infrastructure in all of these cities. Their policies are so ridiculous. They will go after Democrat supremacy at literally any cost, even the cost of a life like Laken Riley. They do not.
These people really try it, don't they? Let me ask you guys this question: what the hell is Democrat supremacy? Yeah, exactly. Facts. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Sounds about white. What is Democrat supremacy? Anybody want to let us know what that is? It'd have been nice if she had explained it a little bit further, educate us, right?
Care.
Yeah. So when you're looking at all these border numbers, it looks like the numbers are starting to drop in Texas. We're only at 42,000 in Texas, but Arizona has 54,000, California 32,000, New Mexico 11,000. It looks like what Governor Greg Abbott is doing to secure the border is working, pushing them back, putting that razor wire as well as those shipping containers is working. But it's not the same for your state of California.
No, in our state of California, regular everyday veterans have to go down and secure our border. I mean, we invite it here. We actually import people into our country, into our state. It's not really that difficult to secure the border. We've now secured 3 sites, and we've gone back to check, and all the razor wire is still up. So the fact that we're not doing it when it's very simple just tells you everything you need to know, that they want it and it's purposeful.
Kate, I didn't get to ask you this last week. But
yeah, I got to agree. I got to agree. It seems to me very obvious that the Biden administration and all of the administrations of the governors and mayors of these blue states and blue cities, they absolutely want this and are playing a game projecting to the public. Now, here's my question. Strategically, what is people's most surefire way of ending this nonsense on the federal, state, and local levels? Because there's a bunch of people that as soon as you ask about this kind of stuff, the first thing that they'll say is, oh, vote for Trump. That's not going to help on the state and local level. Because let me ask you guys this. When Trump was president last time, did sanctuary cities exist, or did they just magically not exist? Sanctuary cities existed while Trump was president. DACA existed while Trump was president. All of this stuff existed while Trump was president. Trump didn't abolish sanctuary cities. Trump didn't abolish DACA. So now my question for everybody is, what is the effective way of getting rid of this stuff? Because what that shows evidence of is that shows evidence that neither party is interested in getting rid of this stuff. One party is loud about getting rid of it. The other party is loud about keeping it. Both parties are interested in making sure that it stays in place. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So since both parties are vested in making sure that these things stay in place, what that means is that these parties, the Republicans or the Democrats, can't be trusted to deal with this, which means that matters have to be taken into our own hands.
But I mean, since the governor is posing in front of your wire, You think they're going to pay you back for the job that you did that they should have been doing? I mean, in Texas, we've been trying to get reimbursed from the federal government. You got a state that's taking almost credit for your work. You think he's going to give you an invoice back with that money?
No, not even a thank you card. I'm sure he was there trying to get him to take it down. But in reality, payback enough for me was understanding that we lit the country on fire and showed people that we don't have to go quietly into the night. That's all the payment I need. I feel very good about what we did. So I don't need a single nickel from him. No, thank you.
Yeah, you're a boss, Kate. Thank you so much for joining the program again.
All right, so there's that. All right. So my question for everybody is, what do you guys think about that? How do you feel that the Biden administration decided to just, you know, not explain any of that? We're just going to do it. Now, before we get out of here, we're going to talk about one more thing. All right. We're going to talk about your girl, Tiffany Henyard. And I know she's not part of the migrant issue, right? Despite the fact that she does seem like she might have migrated from another planet. But this is the political party that says that if the other political party wins the election, that there'll be a threat of loss of democracy. Now, I'm going to show you guys these two videos. And after we watch these videos, I'm going to ask you guys the question, is this what democracy looks like?
Dolton's controversial mayor, Tiffany Henyard, is resisting calls to look into her spending. At a village board meeting Monday night, the Dolton mayor vetoed a resolution passed by the board to investigate her spending last month.
So she vetoed the resolution to investigate her. So the city council wants to investigate her. They put up a resolution to investigate her. She vetoed the resolution. Is that democracy? Where's the check and balance on her as the mayor? Oh, yeah, that's right. She can't be checked. If you want the tea, then get it from she. Ain't that what she said? She can't be checked. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that she is karma for the people that put her into office? Because somebody put her into office. Nobody just threw her down into office. She got there somehow, and she got there through a vote. But what's crazy about it is that everybody gets amnesia when it comes to asking about who put this woman in office. The same way people get amnesia when you start asking about those percentage rates of the people who put Joe Biden in office. Have you guys ever thought about studying a condition called accountability associated amnesia? Because I think it seems like there's enough evidence to say that this condition actually exists.
Dolton's controversial mayor, Tiffany Henyard, is resisting calls to look into her spending. At a village board meeting Monday night, the Dolton mayor vetoed a resolution passed by the board to investigate her spending. Last month, the board passed a resolution that required Henyard to turn in the village's financial records and called for an investigation by the FBI. Now, several Fox 32 reports have uncovered multiple allegations of corruption in her capacity as mayor and as Thornton Township supervisor. The mayor took issue with what she called attacks on her.
As you can see, our village, our community, myself, we are under attack. It's a shame that people can come to me.
She says that she's under attack. She's walking around with bodyguards, yet and still they're investigating to see if one of her opposition got their house shot up. Make it make sense. Real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 26 people watching and we got 22 likes. Got to get them likes up to 40. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell and shared the stream, take a moment, hit the bell, share the stream.
Meetings and just tell one-sided stories and not get the entire side of both stories.
The Daily Southtown reports the trustees can vote to override the mayor's veto next month, and we have confirmed the FBI is questioning people as part of an ongoing investigation into Henyard.
So the FBI is questioning people into an investigation into Henyard. I gotta agree. Shout out to Carlton Wade. Carlton Wade says the judge will throw the book at her. If you guys agree with Carlton, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, do you think she can get her head out of the way, or do you think when the judge throws the book at her, it's gonna hit her right in the head? Let me know what you think.
You talk about this political showdown in a South suburban community. Residents and trustees in Dolton passed a resolution calling for an investigation in.
Oh, of course it is. You didn't know, Iron Will? Of course, this is our fault. We ain't protecting her, despite the fact that she has an entire Pookie army surrounding her everywhere she goes. We still ain't doing a good enough job protecting her, and also everybody just keep on attacking on her. Everybody keep on attacking on her. And don't forget, we black. We black. We black. We bliggity black, y'all. We black. Remember, she said that. She said all of this nonsense. She is just like Charles Barkley. She's just like every other pro-black coon. She gets right in front of a camera and says stuff far worse than you would expect from Fox News, Newsmax, or any of the other cross-burner news networks. And this guy's sitting up here looking like the Scream Mask.
To the mayor's administration and spending, but the mayor vetoed that resolution. NBC5's Christian Farr has a reaction from Dolton and a look at what happens next.
We can always expect for the administration to use a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood says she and a majority of her fellow village trustees will not stop in their fight to save the village. For the past several months, Norwood says certain...
Now, you see the people in the city hall? These are all the people that Tiffany Henyard has abused. All of the black business owners. How many people have seen all of the businesses that Tiffany Henyard has abused or has blocked on getting a renewal permit? I haven't seen one non-black person complain about Tiffany Henyard maliciously making actions towards their business. But you know who she's been making malicious actions toward the businesses of? All of these people here. She says that this city council doesn't do anything. There's a woman that used to work for the Dolton Sheriff Department that mysteriously got her house shot up. None of the white people in Dolton got their houses shot up. Let me ask you guys this question. Who put a projectile to Tiffany Henyard's head and made her do the things that she does? Now, let me ask you guys another question. If Tiffany Henyard didn't conduct herself this way, do you think she'd still be mayor? So whose fault is it? Who's the sole blame for this nonsense?
To save the village. For the past several months, Norwood says certain trustees have been prevented from seeing Dolton's financial statements.
Calling for an investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Which is why last month, those trustees passed that resolution during a special meeting where Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard was not in attendance.
Now, I want y'all to check this out, because Iron Will brought up a great point, right? Somehow this will be black men's fault. But look at everybody who got a problem with Tiffany Henyard, though. Let me ask y'all a question. That lady whose house got shot up, was that a black man whose house got shot up? The only contribution that black men have to this issue, as far as Tiffany Henyard goes, is the Pookie army that escorts her everywhere she goes. That's the only male contribution to Tiffany Henyard's downfall. is the Pookie army that's gaslighting her and waving palm leaves anytime she gets hot, picking her up, lifting her into the SUV. Putting her Burger King crown on her head when she feels down and out, which is probably never.
Investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Which is why last month those trustees passed that resolution during a special meeting where Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard was not in attendance.
We feel that it's extremely important to have the authorities come in and force this administration to provide us with the information needed so that we.
Now, let me. This woman here is extremely upset with Tiffany Henyard. Here's my question for y'all: is this a black man right here? She actually went on. This lady right here actually went on Fox News and did an interview with Fox News about Tiffany Henyard. Let me ask y'all this question: is this a black man right here?
We could provide it to the residents regarding how the money is being spent.
I must let the public know that the actions of the board are illegal.
Yesterday, during a regular scheduled board meeting, Mayor Henyard vetoed that resolution, and before doing it, listed all the good things her administration has done for the residents of Dolton.
We help pay your light bill, gas bill, water bill. We even help you bury loved ones. We even did a mortgage and rental assistance, which was really, really dope.
But when they still had access to Dolton's financial statements, Trustee Norwood says the village was $7 million in debt and suspects that number has grown since then. Trustee Norwood says some vendors have been coming to them to figure out how to get paid. And the latest bill came from a vendor contracted to make posters.
The mayor plans to poster around town with her picture on it with cute sayings. And we're saying, hey, how can we afford this if we're in a deficit?
Trustee Norwood and the other trustees who supported that investigation hope to override the veto by their next board meeting on April 1st. In Dolton, Christian Farr, NBC 5 News.
Let me ask you guys this. Does that look like democracy? Doesn't look like democracy to me. But it looks similar to what goes on in Chicago. And it looks similar to what the Biden administration does. But remember, that's the party saying that we're under a threat of a failure in democracy. The party that doesn't allow people to go to city council meetings and the party that allows tyrannical mayors to veto investigations into them. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you take a moment, hit that bell icon twice, smash the like button. Please share the stream to your social media. If you watch it on the replay, hashtag replay gang, and I will catch you all on the next one. All right. Peace.
Walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee. That's on Kiwi. That's on mamas. Nigga, don't believe me? Come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature? That's like every other week. Talk behind my back. I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Hold up.